What's up, Digital Sphere? This is Doster. Welcome back to the dystopia, and today I'd like to talk about this phrase, raw dogging. If you know any of my videos, if you've seen any of my things on the internet, you will know that my videos are talking without cuts. There's no retake. There's a freshness, and I do it straight, and I tell it to you without putting in edits. There is a straight up freedom for me to say and think and be and do what I express, and that's what I do in my format. Now, there's a disadvantage to this, which is that most likely people won't pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm sorry I'm not a bikini girl. I'm sorry I'm not an influencer. I'm sorry I'm not giving into the brain rot and feeding the splap, flap, blap, 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 blap sort of mess. There's something, though, that is important about raw dogging it. And there's lots of things that this can mean. There's lots of ways in which we can look at this phrase. But first up, I want to just say that I am keeping it raw, without cuts, without bikini girls, because I am looking for people to connect with that are on a different way of consuming information. They're on a different interest. They're looking for someone who's spreading a human message, spreading a soulful message, spreading something that is not about the robots, not about the numbers, not about the popularity contest or chasing success. I'm looking for people who can listen and hear in a certain way that is real, that is heartfelt. And this really weeds out the people that I'm looking for, because the people that are only conditioned to look at brain rot and to look at the bikini girls and to look at the mainstream cuts and the things like this and whatever you want to call that, the spasmic digital sphere, they're already gone. They're not even seeing this. So what's important is for you to see that I'm a person, that I am real, that I mean what I say, and that I have this yearning, I have this desire, I have this want to share my message and to hear your message and to connect human to human. The medium is just the mode. It is just the means. The medium is just the means. It doesn't matter what platform we're on. It matters only what the message is, what it is that we're trying to say. Now, you have this phrase in popular culture at the moment in the digital sphere called raw dogging it. And this means not using your phone, not using stimuli, not relying on either something of the digital sphere or something of stimuli in terms of a chemical, a food, a drug, a drink, something whatever. And this is something that has been taken back actually thousands of years. There's a tradition in raw dogging it that goes for as long as history itself. And we used to find this in the meditative monks who would basically set up the ultimate raw dogging situation where they would have a monastery and it's made of stone, and they would sit for hours on end on a cushion and meditate. And they would eat just one bowl of rice a day or one meal a day, and they would spend pretty much all of their time with their eyes closed. And if you've ever done anything like a Vipassana retreat or a 10-day meditation retreat, which I have done many of with SN Goenka in the Blue Mountains, Australia, then you get a taste of this. You get a sense of how different this is, because this is like extreme raw dogging it. It is extreme putting away of all the mess, all the junk, all the mind activity, all the noise. Now, there's a scene that I like to think of when I like to sort of illustrate this or to sort of demonstrate or to bring this to life, which is where in the movie 3,000 Years of Longing, which is a movie about a genie and he comes out of the bottle and it's an adventure story, and it's a sort of classic version of the genie story, the genie archetype, yes? 3 wishes, you rub the lamp and the genie comes out and you get 3 wishes. And this is a story that has actually appeared many times. It's a cultural structure that appears in different forms. And anyway, there's this story, 3,000 Years of Longing. It's an amazing movie. It's got Tilda Swinton in it. And anyway, the genie and Tilda Swinton go to the city to live. And when the genie turns up, he notices how much noise is all around. And he tells her, wow, this place is really noisy. This place is full of just mess. And she goes, well, okay, tell me what it's like. Show me what it's like. And he then does this thing where he takes her into his world and she hears, and it's like there's 10 different radios going on and static noise and buzzing. And she goes, whoa, that is so insane. That's such a mess. How can you live like that? And he's like, well, I'll learn to get used to it. I'll sort of deal with it. It's my issue. And this is an experience that conscious people have. Sensitive people have this. Sensitive people who are open to so much of the environment get overstimulated. They get put into this noise. They sense the buzzing around them, the radio chatter and the buzzing and the electricity and all the rest of it. And this is what exactly the internet is like. This internet access to hearing people talk is only adding to the noise. It's only adding to the mess. And I'm conscious of this actually happening now with what we're saying here, with this discussion here. I'm noticing that my voice, my ability to add to this noise is really a struggle to break through it. It's a struggle to contribute to the conversation, to put your hand up and say, hey, listen to me, to say, hey, look over here, to grab some attention, and then to guide you, to sort of wean you off this noise, to step away from the stimuli and get more towards the raw dogging, more towards the meditation, to be able to not rely on having words come out constantly, to not be depending upon having no silence between the ideas, to be able to have some peace, to be able to have an expression of something that is more heartfelt and more considered. And this is something I come back to again and again. Are you listening to someone who is considered, who has thought about what they're saying, who is intending to communicate with love, with depth, with wisdom, with insight? Because that's the direction you need to flow in. That's the path that you need to take steps towards. Now, there's every possibility that this path of following the information can bring you to amazing things. If you've found this, then you've found something lucky, something very unique. It might also be that the information goes around and around. You may be stuck in the mind, in the brain rot, in the noise forever. There's no telling that you will not be stuck in there forever. You can spend the rest of your life there if you want to. But if you've found something that resonates, if you've found something that brings you step by step into something deeper, then you can continue following that, and that will take you to amazing places. It will take you to a new understanding. It will take you to new ways of relating to yourself, new ways of thinking about yourself, new ways of going about your day, new ways of feeling, new ways of perceiving. So continue on with this. And I'd love to know what your experience is of raw dogging it and hearing the noise, hearing the mess of this digital sphere. If you want to take the next step, please leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel, and support me with making this happen, with getting more of this out there. This is so important.